Oh,
I have my
should
coffee.
you light the cake during the...
I'm rolling.
Okay, well, I'm lighting the cake. Shit, fucker, come on. Oops, here we go. Okay. It's roughly the 1 year anniversary of us starting this project, and we had some cake left over from my mother-in-law's 85th birthday, so I thought we should celebrate our 1 year anniversary. So
Thank
make
you.
a wish. I'll make a wish.
All right.
Don't make your wish
Wait.
cancel my wish.
Did you... All right, did you have any cold or flu this year?
No.
All right, so who's going to do the blowing?
We can't. It's all right. Let's blow in the same direction then.
Good
so that,
thinking. See,
okay.
that's why he's the second highest
Why
IQ
don't you
in
make
the world.
the picture in the middle?
Okay. All
Well,
right.
then we're going to blow it. Okay.
Bring the cake down, so that way the
Okay.
painting can also blow.
Okay. All right. So all three of us are blowing here.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. There we go. Happy birthday to
All
us.
right. All right. Fantastic.
Out on break. Well, you
And
want
before-
cake now?
actually,
You want?
Well, I
before
kinda
we-
do
wait,
wanna
hold on.
try
Before-
it.
Before we eat that cake, if you can just sit down, I have a quick question. before we
Okay.
eat.
Where's the knife?
It's
I have a special
Oh,
cake
here.
knife
okay,
over
wait,
there.
before you get the knife,
Yes.
Lance.
What?
I have a
What's the
question
question?
to you.
What's the question?
It's the 1 year anniversary of Donald Trump as well. It's like, wow, it's our 1 year anniversary of Donald Trump. Well, tell me about, how do you think it's been a success?
Oh, don't get me started. I could go on forever. He's on track to being the best president we've had since Reagan. There are only two things I want him to do, and then he'll be the best president we've had in 100 years. And one of them was my wishes. Was one of my wishes.
Well, don't say it. You can't say it, or it doesn't
Well, I
come
thought-
true.
I
or
thought-
do say it so it
because
doesn't
this
come
is
true.
because this is Hollywood.
All right.
We're allowed to say things. We're supposed to do
All right.
we're supposed to
All right,
break
fine,
the rules, right?
fine. Go ahead and say.
Well, do you want to tell what yours was first?
Well, I hope we get more viewers for this frickin' podcast.
And I had a patriotic wish.
Well, and also I wish that the 2018 elections go the Democrats' way and we start cleaning up some of this mess. But
Okay. And I wish that Donald Trump would bomb Iran's nuclear facilities.
I'm not entirely opposed to that. I mean, it's going to happen sooner or later, probably, and it's going to be a horrible international mess. But if they keep trying to get nuclear weapons, then it seems like
Can't talk him out of it. You can't reason with the Ayatollah.
It'd be
He
nice
wants
if they
what he
had,
wants.
Yeah, if they got rid of the
So wait,
Ayatollah.
1 year anniversary of Trump, year of triumph,
Well,
kicking ass, or year of chaos?
Well, it's mostly. I mean, the guy is bad at everything except stealing.
Stealing? Who's he stealing?
Like he steals from his investors. He bankrupted 3 casinos multiple times. All right.
Yeah.
All right, Lance. There we go.
So you guys are insisting on doing this show, and I know that if I wait for permission from the director and the talent, I won't be able to have any of this cake. So we're having a little revolt. This is a strike. This is a pundit strike. All right, go ahead.
All right. No, I'm okay. I'll eat on break.
All right.
This will melt the cake. Anyway.
It's good that we have a
You can
physicist.
just hold on to the cake and.
All right. Okay. Fine.
It's good that we
I'll
have
hold
a
on to the cake.
physicist. He's figured out
Keep
that
it in
it'll
the-
melt the cake.
Now I got cake on my shoe.
I knew this.
All right.
Slapstick? Hey, that's
All
extra viewers.
No, I'm good. Let me adjust my grip and all right, let's keep going.
Right.
Chaos or kicking ass, right?
Well, the government's shut down, and I know that Lance will want to say it's the Schumer shutdown, and then the liberals say it's the Trump or the GOP shutdown. And if you look at polling, it's roughly evenly split. With a big chunk of people blame the Republicans, another chunk blame the Democrats, and another chunk blame Trump himself for being kind of wavering or just because he's the president. And I last week or so, I decided my motto for this whole show is wait and see. And when it comes to who gets blamed for the shutdown, I gotta say, wait and see. We gotta wait for the November elections to see who gets hurt the worst by the shutdown. Well, also, this is only day 2 of the shutdown, and how much damage it does will depend on how long it goes on for.
But in terms of the 1 year, what would you say the 1 year anniversary of Trump? Chaos or kicking ass?
Well, Trump has actually accomplished some things. You've got the tax cut. The economy is apparently good. Unemployment is low. Lance will argue that it's all Trump, and I'll argue that it's mostly Obama trends continuing. But that stuff, a good economy makes for a happy country. I could argue that the stock market is not the entire economy, and but.
Well, let's take a little break and eat some cake, and then we'll carry on.
Okay. All right. 37.2. All right. So let me just finish up where I was saying some good things about what Trump has either accomplished or things that are going well after his first year, and the economy is probably his greatest strength. But I would say his greatest weakness is just his demeanor as president. That there's what a president gets done, but there's also part of being a president is how you come across, and he's one of the worst presidents we've ever had at appearing presidential, down to the crazy little details. I think I mentioned before that President Carter lost the respect of the country when he gave a speech about the national malaise and told America that they had to wear sweaters to save energy in the winter. And he basically gave a speech and said, as a country, we're sad right now. And he lost to Reagan, who came in and said, it's morning in America. So how you come across is part of being president. And this last week we had some sleazy revelations and then some dumb revelations on top of the sleazy ones, like that Trump hates sharks, and that he made this porn star he was banging sit with him and watch 3 hours of Shark Week so he could complain about how much he hates sharks. I don't know if that'll hurt him with the people who voted for him or whatever, but I mean, everything's up for grabs in America right now. I've got this theory that things are different than they have been throughout history because dumb people have been mobilized as never before. And now I'll shut up and let you say some stuff.
Oh, I was enjoying listening to.
Trump also had the porn star autograph a video box of one of her pornos. Admittedly, he wasn't president at the time, but still, he was. I mean, come on, it's just.
Was he married to Melania?
Melania had just given birth to their son. I think their son was a month old.
Mm-hmm. And you believe this because the Democrats told you?
No, she gave a 5,000-word interview to In Touch, which is not a paragon of reliability, but it's been pretty well substantiated. They haven't denied the $130,000 payoff.
Well, have they denied that he's a child molester? I mean,
I don't know.
My point is, about a month ago, I said to you that there was absolute proof, because the Democrats admitted it, that they had given they'd paid off a woman's mortgage and had had offered another woman $750,000 if she would go public that Trump sexually harassed her. Now, these are two women that the Democrats had offered money to. And I just don't know why. And then I ran it by you. And I asked you, now does that give you any kind of pause? And you just laughed. It was like that meant nothing to you.
Well,
so I mean, look, you asked me to speak, so I'm going to speak.
okay, yeah.
So to me, this is if I have two parties, and one of them says, one of them, if I have people saying Trump had sex with a prostitute, and then the person saying that also offered two women hundreds of thousands of dollars to say that he had sex with them, my feeling is that invalidates their story. Because I don't know for certain whether Trump had sex with a prostitute, but I do know for certain that the Democrats offered two women several $100,000. And I know that because the people that made the offer admitted it.
So, okay, so...
No, let that sink in a little bit. And then when I ran it by you, you didn't care.
Well, I probably said something like, yeah, what about the 19 other women who accused him of
and
various...
and all of those women, of those 19, I think 16 of them have been thrown out of court, and that leaves two.
Well, I don't think all...
No, we're down to 2 or 3, and of those 2 or 3...
Well, I don't think all 21 or 19 or whatever went to court.
Right. No, they were just thrown out. They're just people you're right. They didn't go to court. They were thrown out.
Well,
and wait a minute. And of those 3, one of them had her mortgage paid off by the Democrat Party. So
Democratic Party.
So my point is that I would feel like your side had been what's the word for it? Not debunked, discredited.
Okay.
And now, in spite of the fact that two women were offered hundreds of thousands of dollars and the Democrats admitted that they did it, you're now willing to believe, oh, but there's another one.
Well, wait. If you believe that that these women were paid off to do what they did, this woman got paid off by Trump's own people.
Well, how do you know that?
Because they got paid off by Trump's lawyer, Michael Cohen, through
and has he announced this? Has he admitted it? Because
they haven't denied it.
Yeah,
they through a secret Delaware corporation.
They also didn't deny that he molested children. Whereas Gloria Allred's daughter had to actually hold a press conference where she said, I am the lawyer. I gave this person her mortgage paid off, and I offered $750,000 to this other person. That's not the same as they haven't denied it. Yeah, that's a press conference where the actual person admitted what had happened.
All right, so but the people in this Stormy Daniels, the porn star.
You believe her, right? She's a credible person.
Yeah, and Michael, yeah, I believe the whole story.
Why do you believe a porn star?
Because nobody's debunked it.
Well, maybe they don't feel they need to debunk every single crazy thing.
No, they need to. If they could,
with.
They would debunk this thing because it's the president paying a porn star.
No, I read that the White House released a statement saying this is all fabrication. There's no truth to it. So what are they supposed to do? Get up there and say, listen, every week the Democrats are going to come up with some crazy story, and I'm going to have to debunk these, and that'll be in the news every single week. Trump denies it. Hey, Trump, did you pay for Russian prostitutes to pee on a bed? No, I did not. Did you?
You love to bring up the pee tape.
Did you pay off a porn star? No, I did not. And this is just going to go on week after week.
No, I don't think so.
Hey, listen, Rick. Did Hillary Clinton have a lesbian affair with Huma Abedin?
No.
Well, she didn't deny it. I heard it, and she
This
didn't
thing's-
deny it.
Yeah.
I want proof.
All right.
Why do you believe these crazy things? Why is it that you
Because I
focus
read it
on
from
things
multiple. Well, because it's my job to. It used to be I used to get paid for writing jokes. And it was my job to know about this stuff. And my behavior now that I'm not getting paid for writing jokes isn't a lot different than when I was getting paid. I still look at the news and I still write what I hope are funny tweets about what's going on. And I look at stuff from multiple sources, and if things seem hinky, I try to track them down to more primary sources. And the porn star thing seems to hold up. Now, I don't know about all the details, like the part where, the Trump hates sharks, but I mean, that's something that you definitely wouldn't deny because it's just a goofy detail. But it mostly holds up. I don't find any glaring fabrications in the situation. You were asking.
What was the source?
Well, I mean, you've got the news channels I watch, and yeah, they're left-leaning, and they're usually not Fox News. And then there's I tracked the interview with her down, and I looked at that at multiple sources, and
So she said it.
What's the
She
latest?
said it. She's sure of it.
What's the
How
latest
much-
on the Fox and Fury?
How much do you think they paid her, Rick?
$130,000. Oh, for the interview? For the
How
In
much
Touch?
money did this porn star get for going through all this?
She got $130 from Trump's lawyer through a secret Delaware corporation.
And how much are the Democrats paying her?
I don't know that they are paying her anything.
You don't know.
No, we have this talk about we had this whole argument yesterday about like what's disproven versus what there's no proof
but I
of.
just want to know if I was a prostitute.
She's,
I mean, if
she's
I was
not
a
a
porn actress,
prostitute.
she's a
She
porn
wasn't
actress.
necessary. She wasn't a prostitute.
No, she was a porn actress, right?
Which
Isn't
is
it-
not the
it's
same
the same
thing
thing
as-
as a prostitute.
In your mind, but porn performers would argue that there's a difference between being a prostitute and being a sex performer.
Yeah, well, they're not. There is no difference, Rick. And my point is this: you believe that a prostitute would never lie for money. She may suck cock for money.
Well,
she may go through every conceivable sexual perversion on camera for money, but she won't lie, especially when the Democrat Party has given her hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. She would never lie.
Well,
she's a credible source, Rick.
What do you do all day, Lance?
You have the second highest IQ in the world.
Which
You
should-
believe a prostitute would never lie.
No, I didn't say that.
She would never lie. She's as honest as a judge.
Okay, so let's talk credentials.
credibility.
Let's talk credentials. What do you
Yes.
do all day? What have you done all day?
I murder children.
No, you do art all day, right? I mean, pretty much 10 hours a day, 6 days a week.
I have less credibility than a porn star. You're right.
No. Here's what I'm
just
I'm
trying
going to
to
make a whole
anticipate
argument
this.
about this.
We need to believe our porn stars. Porn stars are the credible members of society.
No, I'm not.
Have you seen any of her films? That's my question. If you have, how were they?
I have not, though I've seen some of her covers now
Uh-huh.
because I had to look at the box that she autographed for
Now,
Trump.
my question is why you didn't see that film. I was actually.
You want me to be honest?
Yeah. Well, why?
Because I like a younger performer. She's a milfy performer.
So she's kind of on the slide.
No,
And it would never
she's
occur
a very.
to this porn actress to lie to make a few $100,000.
It could,
Maybe-
but like
maybe-
she's
maybe
a
the-
director now.
maybe-
She's a porn director now, so she's still making. I don't know if she's still acting, but she's directing. All right, but here's the deal: you do art like at least 3,000 hours a year every year, and you've done so for 35 years, right?
Where are we going with this?
You've spent like 100,000 hours doing art.
I have to worry about our studio, about our audience. What if
All right, okay, so
audience is getting
I spent
bored?
25 years checking IDs in bars.
Okay.
And being a math guy and also a guy trained in statistics, well, I love the checking and catching of fake IDs. I love checking IDs. I checked something like 750,000 IDs, and I caught 6,000 people with fake IDs. I loved it. It was like every person I met who was like close to looking like they might be under 21 was like a miniature mystery. I had 10 seconds for each person to determine whether or not they were lying to me. And I couldn't be perfect, but I tried to be, and I got really good at it. And so for 25 years, I had a job where it was my function to determine truth. And I wasn't perfect at it, but I had a whole methodology. I used Bayesian inference to, I had a point system for, depending on what tells the person had and what knowledge the person had or didn't have. Did they know their zodiac sign? Did they know what year they graduated high school? How did they, there were like 10 or 12 or 15 different basic things on my scale of possible truth or possible lying that I had to squeeze out of somebody in 10 to sometimes 20 or 30 seconds if they were really iffy. So basically for 25 years, in a small way, I tried to statistically determine and evidentiate on the basis of statistics and I guess situational evidence, I tried to determine truth. And my training is in statistics. And so I'm not completely stupid and gullible when it comes to matters of evaluating whether somebody's full of shit or not. And I like to think when I look at the news that I don't unquestioningly buy a story just because it confirms my political leanings. Earlier today, I thought, I'm meeting with you tonight, and I'm going to get you about Chelsea Clinton's wedding.
Oh, let's hear about it.
And I'm like, okay, so the scuttlebutt is, based on this one kind of ambiguous email from somebody who doesn't like Chelsea, that the Clintons spent $3 million of Clinton Foundation charity money on Chelsea's wedding. And my gotcha was going to be, I was going to look up how much Chelsea Clinton's wedding cost. And I was going to ask you, Lance, how much do you think Chelsea Clinton's wedding actually cost?
I would have said $3 million.
You would have been right. I was not happy to find out that, yeah, according to many estimates, she had a $3 million wedding, which I find annoying. But I don't find it untrue because it conflicts with what I'd like to think about the Clintons. I looked it up, I saw a bunch of stories, and they were quoting, figures of, nobody was saying that it cost less than $3 million. One source said it might have cost fucking $5 million. And I don't say, well, that's bullshit, because it conflicts with, the stories are there, and those were people's estimates. And it annoys me that the Clintons were so sloppy in playing defense that they had to know. Somebody in their circle should have said, do you really want to spend $3 million on this frickin' wedding? Don't you think that could backfire on you a few years from now when you're running for president and show you as being kind of, the rich, too rich to relate to regular people or whatever. I mean, it just seems like if you were a political consultant, wouldn't you tell the Clintons to, hey, maybe only spend $1 million or $750,000 or some crap, right?
Yeah.
But no, they spent $3 million, so that's that kind of complacency that they don't have to play defense, even though the other side has been trying to get the goods on them for decades, is a disappointment. But sometimes facts are facts, and in looking at the Stormy Daniels thing, it looks like it's pretty well substantiated. Now, I haven't gone deep into it with and plowed through 50 different news sources, but I feel like I've read enough about it and seen enough about it and how people have reacted to it that there is something there for what it's worth.
Well, okay. I have 3 responses.
Okay.
The first is, one, I would have to check the White House response and a source other than the liberal media to see if there's a counter argument. 2, I think given that they've already been caught paying off women to lie, that destroys their credibility. 3, I don't believe porn stars' credibility. She's not a responsible person. And there's a 4th thing. The 4th thing is, I don't care. If
Well, that's of your 4 points. That's the best point.
If Trump had sex with Stormy Daniels, is it Daniels?
Yeah.
Stormy Daniels, well, more power to him. I just hope he wore a condom.
I forget whether he did, but and there were details that I didn't read because I didn't want to spend the effort to track down. There was something about the quality of his penis that I felt like I didn't really need to.
Well, I've heard it's gigantic.
I don't believe that.
Well, he announced it during the debate with Marco Rubio.
Yeah,
It's public knowledge.
That seems like a rhetorical penis brag.
He bragged about his winkle on national TV in a presidential debate.
Well,
which was one of the reasons of many that I wanted Cruz.
yeah.
But now that he's in there, let's get to some substance.
Well,
Because
the deal is that there is substance, but there is also a part of presidenting, the job of being president, that kind of rests on one's demeanor.
Actually, no. Rick, let me tell you something. This is the lowest unemployment for black people in the history of black Americans.
Saturday Night Live had a joke about that, except before the Civil War when unemployment among black Americans was at 0%.
Well, it's also one of the lowest rates in history for Hispanics. Stock market is at record high. ISIS has been wiped out. Anwar has drilling in it. That pipeline is going through. The tax plan was passed, which is giving everybody extra money.
We'll see, because that doesn't kick in until next month.
But companies are already doing it. And
Yeah,
they're
there's
already
some
giving
companies are
bonuses.
giving bonuses.
You're
Some
interrupting me. I let you drone on about the
That's-
ID thing for a while. I mean, so I have to say, Judge Gorsuch is on the thing, is on the bench. Jerusalem is the capital of Israel, and he's the first president ever that told the Palestinians that if they don't like it, they can go fuck themselves. He has put
Wait, Pence is over there still talking about a 2-state solution.
right, but Trump just cut off 2/3 of the Palestinians' aid that they've been getting, that they use to buy weapons for themselves and expensive luxuries for their leaders. For the first time in history, the Veterans Administration can fire incompetent people. And as a result, the veterans are being treated better than they ever have been. He's put the Iranians on notice that we're not going to take any more shit from them. We have North Korea surrounded by 3 aircraft carrier groups and 3 Trident submarines, each with a payload capable of destroying the entire country of North Korea.
Now, let me just say one
We
thing,
have-
then you can keep going. But is that not all these things that you're listing would be viewed as 100% awesome by?
I realize that, but I can't, every time I say something, say, but you would disagree.
Okay,
I have to
fine,
just
fine.
say,
These are all things you like.
I think these are more important than the president's demeanor. And I think that no matter what he says, the Democrat media will attack him. Oh, and for the first time in my lifetime, a determined effort is being made to cut down on illegal immigration. He's also got plans to build up the military. He's got our NATO allies paying, most of them are beginning to pay their fair share, which will take an extreme burden off the American taxpayer.
Not an extreme burden.
Yeah, it will be, because
Well, throw numbers at
as
me.
I
Throw
described,
numbers.
as I described in previous debates, the reason that the socialist countries of Europe are able to put so much money into healthcare is not because they have a better system. It's because the U.S. taxpayer pays for their defense. And most of those countries have minuscule budgets for their defense. And now Trump is saying, hey, you can't force the American taxpayer to pay for your defense and go without his health care, and then provide your people with these elaborate, luxurious health care systems. So again, he's standing.
So how much money are we saving now that other countries are paying up?
Well, the countries that have been reneging have to double the amount of their budgets. They were supposed to pay 2% of their budgets,
Yeah.
and they were paying less than 1%. And this is countries like Norway and,
Estonia.
well, just various countries in NATO.
Okay.
But the point is that the American taxpayer is actually not going to benefit, because Trump is going to use the extra money that we make to build up our army.
How many people
stronger,
live in
and
Norway?
We need to. I
4
believe-
million? 6 million?
Something like Sweden has 9 million.
Yeah, Estonia has 1.3 million.
Okay. Well, it doesn't really matter. My point is that the U.S. is sticking up for itself all over the world, and and he's sticking up for Israel. They're now naming streets in Israel for Trump, because he's been such a refreshing change from that dirtbag who was pro-Muslim before him. And all in all, I would say that, you know what? If necessary, I will buy a porn actress to go to bed with Trump if it'll keep him sharp and continuing the marvelous efforts he's doing for our country.
Yeah, Sharp is questionable. He gets to work at 11 in the morning. And sometimes he knocks off work at 3 p.m. He has 4-hour work days. Probably not every day, but
I just don't give a damn, Rick. You're petty, and your party is petty, and the people talking to you about Trump are petty and vile. For the first time in the history of the country, we're standing up against illegal immigration. We're going to build a wall, and the economy is going like gangbusters.
Why do we
If
need
you
to...
were a patriot, you would care. You would say, you know what? This is good. You wouldn't worry about these petty, vile little things that that CNN keeps telling you.
I think I'm okay with the wall and paying for the wall
Yeah.
if we get some other stuff. Like
Why does it why does it have to be a bargaining chip? I thought you wanted it and I want it. Why don't we just say, let's build a wall? Why does your party turn it into a bargaining chip?
Why does your party do the same thing?
Because my party wants, you asked me a question, so I'm going to answer it.
Okay, answer the question.
My party wants to build the wall and stop illegal immigration. Your party doesn't. Because if they did, they'd say, let's build the wall. But instead they're saying, well, we'll let you build the wall, but you got to give us something in return.
Yeah,
you got to legalize 11 million DACA people.
11 million?
Yeah.
Try 800,000.
No. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait.
You're confused.
No. I'm not confused. The way they wrote it, it turns out the Democrats aren't going for the 800,000 anymore. They want millions. The exact number could be as high as 11 million if they go to court and they get some liberal judge to go along with them. But it's definitely over 800,000, and a compromise number is probably going to be around 3 million. And they're willing to shut down.
So you got 800,000 DACAs. What are the other 2.2 million?
I don't know. It may be their parents or people that they married or their kids. See, these are not kids. Most of them are adults now. And they have kids and they have wives, and so
hold on. So if a DACA person
has a kid here, the kid's American.
Yeah. So you don't even need to argue about this.
Unless they were brought in with illegal aliens that they married, or unless they had kids with illegal aliens.
No, you spit out a baby on American soil. Now Trump wants to get rid of this.
Yeah, I know.
Regardless of your status, if your baby comes out of your vagina,
I understand that. And what I'm saying to you,
so that shouldn't go in that count,
right? Unless you, all right. It doesn't matter exactly where they're getting this number. I assure you, it's no longer 800,000. It's going to be it's going to be several million. And the legal ramifications of making the 800,000 citizens will affect all the other illegal aliens. Because then there'll be clever lawyers that'll say, well, wait a minute, you now have two classes of people. They're going to go to court, they're going to extend it to millions.
So what you're saying sounds reasonable, though hyperbolic, and that's something that I will read up on before we meet again.
I don't think it matters. 800,000, 2 million.
Well, no, it does matter because
it's just wrong. The whole thing is wrong.
Well,
everything about it is wrong.
You want all the 800,000 to go away. You want them not to be in this country anymore.
Well, actually, what I want is what every reasonable person wants, and that is I want to evaluate these people and say, are there any of these people here that benefit my country? I don't care what happens to Mexico. Mexico can take care of their own. I'm interested in helping America.
So what benefits America? That they get educated here and that they work in this country doing... Do they have to have certain...
No, it's like, for example, if they've served in the military, I might keep them. Each case can be evaluated, but my...
Well, what if somebody's gone to school and they got a bachelor's degree and now they work in an insurance office?
They have to go.
Because what? They're not directly benefiting America. They're just having a life here.
Right. Yeah, that's it. I want them to go back to their country of origin.
The country that they came from when they were 5.5.
Or when they were 14. Or when they were 25.
Not 25.
No. Actually, it's anybody under 35, I believe.
No.
Some of these people came over.
No, because
when they were adults.
No. 35 is not some kind of cutoff.
No, but there is a number. I believe most of them were not children when they were brought over. Some weren't.
Then you believe wrong.
Okay, look, it doesn't matter. This is personal and anecdotal, so it's not a convincing argument. But let me just run it by you. When I was a kid, we traveled in Europe a lot.
I know you've said
no,
this.
No,
anyway,
but if when I was 10, I decided to stay in France, that would not make me a Frenchman. I'd have to leave. When the French government finally turns around and says, hey, Lance, you're not a French person, you're American, you have to go home. I would have said, okay, but not you, because you see a potential voter there. That's a Democrat. You don't want to let a Democrat go, right, Rick?
I want to talk about the 800,000. I can research the beyond 800,000. You're saying that it's just the tiniest wedge that'll get all 11 million undocumented.
It is. And even if it was,
well, I mean, that's what your media tells you. That this is what's going to happen.
Well, because there are legal ramifications for this kind of thing. You're creating a class of people that a lawyer can then argue, well, that's not a civil right. And
yeah,
besides,
but it's lawyers' job to argue about it. You hire lawyers to argue whatever your point of view is.
Okay,
but,
well,
I mean, lawyers could argue that not all 800,000 are entitled to be.
Okay, it's just not that interesting. Let's move on.
All right, but you guys are leaning on fairly small segments of the population. In the case of the Dreamers, the DACAs, they are 1/4% of the population of America. In the case of El Salvadorans, the 200,000, they are 1/15 of 1% of the population of America.
But they are 1 out of every 3 El Salvadorans is now living in America.
But you guys love getting points with your base by going after populations that are so minuscule compared to the entire U.S. population that getting rid of them won't really change the national landscape.
Oh, it certainly will. Are you kidding me?
What's going to be better if we get rid of 200,000 El Salvadorans?
Right.
How will that make everyday life better for the average American?
Look, it's very simple. The last election hinged on a few thousand votes in every state. Every one of those people that the Democrats want to keep here is going to vote Democrat. You're basically, if you legalize the...
So you're going to fuck over hundreds of thousands of people just to make sure you win elections.
No, they should never have been here in the first place. I'm going to fuck them over because I believe in the law. I believe the United States should have a border. And inside the border are all the people that I support, the Americans.
Also, you have to do
Wait, you're interrupting me. You asked me a question.
No, actually, I didn't.
You did. You said, am I going to fuck over these people? And my question is,
all right.
and my answer is, I am in favor of American citizens. You're a Democrat, so you're in favor of people from other countries. Your concern is for them. My concern is for the Americans that they're taking jobs from.
Oh, wait, let's do that. Let's talk about people from other countries, because you talked about, all of Trump's strengths, finally standing up for America in the international community. And an argument can be made, and is being made, that we are the one reason America is strong is because it's a shining beacon among the other countries of the world, a country that other countries look to for values and inspiration, and a country that other countries are willing to work with and be allies with, because A, we're generous, and B, because we are an example of positive values. And that in doing some of the isolationist stuff that Trump is doing, we are losing ground to countries like China, who is now, with China now reaching out and doing some of the shit that we are known for. Foreign aid, helping with projects in other countries, building alliances. I mean, one of our strengths as the most powerful country in the world since the end of World War II has been our alliances, our friendships with other countries.
Rick, you got to get to the point, because this has nothing to do with
Trump
immigration.
Trump is pulling. No, this is a whole different point.
Oh, we're not talking about illegal immigration?
No, I changed the subject. I'm talking.
I was going to ask you, does that mean that China has to bring in 3 million Mexicans? Because that's what you want. You want 1/3 of all illegal aliens are coming from Mexico. In fact, there is a statistic that it's possible that 25% of the Mexican population is living in America.
Well, that's just frickin' ridiculous.
Well, it isn't actually, because at the very least, there are if 1/3 of all illegal aliens are Mexican. So if we've got 20 million, that's 7 million Mexicans.
Yeah, but that's the population of Mexico is like 120.
Yeah, it's 120. Yeah, but the point I'm trying to make is, is being a good country meaning accepting 7 million Mexican people here? Why is that a good thing? Why is that? Why is that? So you're not going to say it's moral, because I thought you were going to say it's moral. We're on a different subject now. Because I was going to say, does China need to accept millions and millions
I'm sure
of Mexicans?
China brings in certain numbers of.
No, they don't.
No,
they don't. The country that has the most immigration in the world is America.
Except that we've had net negative.
No, we haven't.
Since 2008.
No. We have continued to accept millions and millions of people. Every year we accept several 100,000. We've actually had over 1 million Muslims since 9/11, along with millions of Mexicans.
All right, so
we're doing our bit, Rick.
So okay, fine. So 9/11 was 2001. It's 16 and a half years later.
Yeah, so we've had over.
So that's 60,000
Yeah.
Muslims a year.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean.
But how many Americans have the Muslim countries taken?
I don't know. I mean.
None, practically. I mean, in other words,
With that, let's break. You want to break? Yeah, let's break.